Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji, Pawan Prabhuji, and all the devotees who led the chanting. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksharanmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namaham Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll continue with our prayers. Anybody would like to sing today? Balabhadra Stotra Kavach. Post the link in the chat. Let me share here. Yes, anybody would like to sing? Sing it just like our Mangala Arti that we sing. Samsara Dava Nallida Loka. Okay, let me continue then today. Hopefully later this week we'll have some other devotees recite. Okay, Balabhadra Stotra Kavach by Srila Vyasadeva. गोलोक धामाधिपति परीश्वरा परेषु मां पातु पवित्र कीर्तन भूमण्डलं सर्षपवद्विलक्ष्यते यन्मोद्नि मां पातु स भूमिमण्डले सेनासु मां रक्षतु शिरपाणिर्युद्धे सदा रक्षतु मां हली च दुर्गेषु चाव्यान् मुसलि सदा मां वनेषु सङ्कर्षण आदिदेवः कलिन्दजावेगहरो जलेषु नीलाम्बरो रक्षतु मां सदाग्नौ वायौ च रामो वतुखे बलश्च महार्णवेनन्तवपु सदा माम् श्रीवासुदेवो वतु पर्वतेषु सहस्रशीर्ष च महाविवादे रोगेषु मां रक्षतु रोहिणेयो मां कामपालो वतु विपत्सु कामात् सदा रक्षतु धेनुकारिः क्रोधात् सदा मां द्विविधप्रहारी लोभात् सदा रक्षतु बल्वलारिः मोहात् सदा मां किल मागधारिः प्रातः सदा रक्षतु वृष्णिधूर्यः प्राणे सदा मां मथुरापुरेन्द्रः मध्यं दिने गोपसखा पातु स्वराट् पराणेवतु मां सदैव सायं फणीन्द्रो वतु मां सदैव परात् परो रक्षतु मां प्रदोषे पूर्णे निशीथे च दुरन्तवीर्यः प्रत्युषकाले वतु मां सदैव विदिक्षु मां रक्षतु रेवतीपतिर्दिक्षु प्रलम्बारिरधो यदोद्वः ऊर्ध्वं सदा मां बलभद्रारात् तथा समन्तात् बलदेव एव हि अन्तः सदा व्यात् पुरुषोत्तमो बहिर्नागेन्द्रलीलोऽवतु मां महाबलः सदान्तरात्मा च वसन् हरि स्वयं प्रपातु पूर्ण परमेश्वरो महान् देवासुराणां भयनाशनं च हुताशनं पापचयेन्दनानां विनाशनं विघ्नघतस्य वेद्धि सिद्धासनं वर्मवरं बलस्य हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री बलभद्र स्तोत्र कवच की जय। श्रील व्यासदेव की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Okay, we'll read the translations. Anybody would like to take up that service today?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can read. Hare Krishna.
Shalom. Hare Krishna.
May Lord Balarama, who is the master of Goloka, who is the supreme controller of all controllers, and whose fame is spotless, protect me. May Lord Balarama, who on his head holds the earth as if it were a single mustard seed, protect me in this world. May Lord Balarama protect me when I am surrounded by many armies. May Lord Balarama, who holds a plow, always protect me in battle. May Lord Balarama, who holds a club, always protect me in many fortresses. May Lord Balarama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, protect me in the forest. May Lord Balarama, who wears blue garments and who stopped the Yamuna, always protect me in the fire. May Lord Balarama protect me in the wind. May Lord Balarama protect me in the sky. May Lord Balarama, who is Lord Ananta himself, always protect me in the great ocean. May Lord Balarama, who is Vasudeva's son, protect me on mountains. May Lord Balarama, who has 1,000 heads, protect me in great disputes. May Lord Balarama, who is Rohini's son, protect me from diseases. May Lord Balarama, who fulfills desires, protect me from catastrophes. May Lord Balarama, who is the enemy of Dhenukasura, always protect me from lust. May Lord Balarama, who killed Vivida, always protect me from anger. May Lord Balarama, who is the enemy of Balvala, always protect me from greed. May Lord Balarama, who is the enemy of Jarasandha, always protect me from illusion. May Lord Balarama, who is the best of the Vrishnis, always protect me at sunrise. May Lord Balarama, who is the king of Mathura's city, always protect me in the morning. May Lord Balarama, who is the friend of the Gopas, always protect me at midday. May Lord Balarama, who is supremely independent, always protect me in the afternoon. May Lord Balarama, who is the king of serpents, always protect me at sunset. May Lord Balarama, who is greater than the greatest, always protect me in the evening. May Lord Balarama, whose power is invincible, always protect me in the middle of the night. May Lord Balarama always protect me at every sunrise. May Lord Balarama, who is the master of Revati, protect me from every direction. May Lord Balarama, who is the enemy of Pradamba, protect me from every direction. May Lord Balarama, who is the best of the Yadavas, protect me from below. May Lord Balarama always protect me from above. May Lord Balarama protect me from near and far. May Lord Balarama protect me everywhere. May Lord Balarama, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, always protect me from within. May powerful Lord Balarama, who enjoys pastimes as the King of Serpents, protect me from without. May Lord Balarama, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul residing in everyone's heart, always protect me. Please know that this Kavacha of Lord Balarama is the best of armors. It destroys the fears of the demigods and demons. It is a blazing fire that burns up the fuel of a host of sins. It is the death of a host of obstacles. It is the abode of spiritual perfection. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you to Srila Prabhupada, who has given all of us this opportunity. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Wonderful. How many times we read Balaram as we were reading Balaram, Balaram, Balaram. So that is what Prabhupada wanted us to chant the holy names, and we are chanting, calling out to Sri Balaram. May he protect us. Yes, and we saw like how devotees again pray to the Lord for protection. And yesterday, talking about Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, Prabhupada left Tittenhurst, the royal estate of John Lennon. And as soon as he left, what happened? There was a big storm. So he was protected until pure devotee was there. The next day, there is a big storm and wind. So here we said, Balaram, protect us from wind, protect us from fire, protect us from all natural catastrophes. So anyway, and when Prabhupada was there, he protected that bricklayer person and his wife who were haunted by ghosts with the simple act of leading kirtan, asking his devotees to just sprinkle some holy water there, blow the conch shell, and then lead kirtana. So all the demons that are there in the heart are killed when we hear the glories of the pastimes of the Lord, as we say in Bhagavatam, when we read Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Krishna killing the demons, it kills all our anarthas. So like that, by blowing the conch shell and reading Kirtana, all those ghosts were gone. And Prabhupada also said there are other ghosts, other ghosts also are living on this estate. But as long as we are chanting Hare Krishna, they will not disturb us. So, and when he finally left that place, he went for his morning walk again to kind of bless those trees who were standing there for so many, maybe centuries, without any love. But he gave his love to them, his mercy and compassion. And then finally, we also saw the moon landing again, and Prabhupada's take on that. And that this was all just physical gymnastics. But really, just like I was giving the example yesterday, when you go to Himalayas, but just going physically is one thing, but there are so many spiritual saints there. Even Srila Vyasadeva is a Chiranjeevi. He is still living, like Hanumanji is still living, but we cannot see them with our material eyes. But only one who is spiritually advanced can feel their presence and be blessed. So similarly, we can go to moon physically, but really to really to feel that spiritual essence, it requires spiritual qualification. Okay, and then finally we came, yesterday Prabhupada also was about to get the deities, or actually they got the deities, Radha and Krishna deities from Mr. Doyal from the London Hindu Society. So now they are driving back to the temple carrying the wonderful deities, and Prabhupada was singing Govindam Adipur Sham as Shyam Sundar Prabhu is driving back. So let's continue from here. Anybody like to read? Prabhupada smiled. Okay, I will continue then. Alright, Prabhupada smiled. Krishna has played a great trick. In the Mahabharata also, he said, there are incidents where Krishna plays tricks. One such trick was Krishna's agreeing to be on the side of the general he saw first in the morning. The two opposing generals, Arjuna and Duryodhana, had both come to Krishna's tent early in the morning as Krishna slept. They had agreed that one of them would stand at Krishna's head and the other at Krishna's feet, and that they would wait until Krishna awoke. Duryodhana chose to stand by Krishna's head, while Arjuna chose his feet. Krishna awoke and saw Arjuna. That was one great trick that was played by Krishna. Prabhupada said, similarly, this is a great trick. He told how Krishna had also tricked Mother Yashoda when she had tried to discipline Krishna. He had run away and she had run after him, caught him and tried to tie him with ropes. But every time she came with more rope, Prabhupada said, it was just a little too short. Krishna can play any kind of trick. Another such trick has been played. They made so much effort to bring these deities here, thinking they will be for their Hindu center. But all the time Krishna wanted to come here. So this chip on the deity's hand is just Krishna's trick. And we have caught them. Prabhupada, Mukunda said, you kidnapped Krishna. Yes, Prabhupada said. Once I was in the bank and the manager had some scheme, but I foiled his scheme. So he said to me, Mr. Day, you should have been a politician. Prabhupada laughed. Then he became grave and asked the devotees not to talk about the incident. Many people would not understand how he could install a chipped deity. The devotees agreed to keep the secret, but they had no doubt that Prabhupada's love for Krishna was transcendental to Hindu customs. Radha and Krishna had come to London on Prabhupada's desire. How do you dress big deities like this? Yamuna asked. They already have clothes on. Prabhupada said, you bring me some cloth. What kind of cloth, Prabhupada? What should the clothes look like? Like in the pictures, he replied. Well, there are so many different pictures, she said. Sometimes Krishna has a ruffled skirt on, and sometimes he has a dhoti on, and sometimes he has a big crown on. Krishna looks very beautiful in saffron, Prabhupada said. So you bring me some silk dhotis in yellow and saffron color. Yamuna collected 6 silk saris with silver and gold borders, and Prabhupada indicated the design he wanted and told Yamuna how to arrange the crowns. With only a few days remaining before the installation ceremony, Yamuna began working almost continuously at her sewing machine. Several times a day, Prabhupada would come to see her progress. Shyamsundara had completed most of the altar, except for Lord Jagannath's altar and the canopy over Radha and Krishna's throne. Both the canopy and Lord Jagannath's altar would be supported by 4 heavy wooden columns, more than 6 feet high. 2 rear columns would hold a marble slab for the Jagannath deities to stand on, and 2 front columns were now supporting Radha and Krishna's large velvet canopy. The columns were big and heavy. Shyamsundara called them elephant leg columns. The columns now stood in place on the altar, although Shamsundara hadn't had a chance to secure them. The day before the installation, Shamsundara collapsed upstairs in exhaustion. On opening day, many guests, Indians especially, crowded the temple, responding to flyers and advertisements. Apple Records had supplied a professional florist who had decorated the room with floral arrangements. A BBC television crew was on hand to videotape the ceremony. While most of the devotees held Kirtana, Prabhupada, behind a curtain at the other end of the temple, bathed Radha and Krishna. The plan was that after the bathing ceremony, the deities would be placed on the altar and Yamuna would dress them. Once they were dressed and enthroned, the curtain would open for all the guests to behold Sri Radha and Krishna. Prabhupada would lecture and then everyone would feast. But because of Shamsundara's oversight, the installation almost became a disaster. Prabhupada had finished the bathing the deities and they had been placed on the marble altar when suddenly the elephant-like columns tottered. The canopy above the deities began to collapse. Prabhupada, seeing the danger, jumped onto the altar and seized the heavy columns in a split second. With great strength, he held the two front pillars in place. "Get this out of here," he shouted. While Prabhupada's arms protected the deities, the men removed the canopy. And then 2 men at a time carried each of the pillars away. The deities remained unharmed. While Prabhupada was behind the curtain, rescuing Radha and Krishna, on the other side of the curtain, guests and reporters awaited the unveiling of the deities. Unaware of the mishap, the guests saw only men emerging from behind the curtain carrying large pillars and a canopy. The BBC camera crew began filming the canopy and pillars as they appeared from behind the curtain, taking them to be part of a ceremonial procession. The few devotees behind the curtain with Prabhupada were amazed, but there was no time now for apologies or appreciations. Yamuna dressed the deities, Prabhupada hurrying her. When at last everything was ready, Prabhupada opened the main curtain, revealing the graceful forms of Lord Krishna and Radharani to the temple full of guests. A devotee began to offer arati, while Prabhupada, wearing a saffron chadar and a garland of carnations, stood to one side, reverentially looking upon Radha and Krishna as their worshipper and protector. This was the culmination of months of effort. Actually, years of planning had preceded this auspicious occasion. 100 years before, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had hoped for the day when Krishna consciousness would come to England, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had also desired it. Now that an authorized temple of Radha and Krishna was preaching Krishna consciousness in London, it was a historic occasion for Gaudiya Vaishnavism. A long-standing order of the previous acharyas had been fulfilled. Prabhupada had sent invitations to several of his godbrothers in India. None of them had been able to come, of course, but at least they should have been pleased to learn that his dream of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's had been fulfilled. Prabhupada was 73. He had now opened 21 temples in 3 years. Recently, he had told some of his disciples that they should try to form a governing body for ISKCON to relieve him of the management and allow him to concentrate fully on presenting Krishna conscious literature. This literature could be introduced all over the world into homes, schools, and colleges for the benefit of everyone. It would be in such literature that he would live on. How much time he had left in this world, he didn't know. He said, but he wanted to go on serving and trying to please his Guru Maharaj life after life. Nevertheless, despite Prabhupada's desire to retire from active work and absorb himself in writing books, here he was installing deities in a new temple and protecting them from his disciples' carelessness. Had he not been present, the celebration would have been a disaster. So many hardworking disciples, and they still needed his personal guidance. ISKCON was just beginning to grow. Prabhupada wanted to open not just 21 temples, but at least 108. His world, traveling, and book printing were just beginning, and like everything else, the number of disciples would increase. The prestige of his movement would increase, and with it, opposition from the atheists. Krishna consciousness was growing, and Prabhupada was in the forefront. All around I see bright, he said. That is the glory of Krishna. He saw himself as a servant of his spiritual master. The bright future was in Krishna's hands. Prabhupada called for Shamsundara. Although Prabhupada was angry at first because of the near disaster on the altar, he admitted that his disciples had done their best. The temple was beautiful, he told Shamsundara. He liked it. He then asked that a sign be placed out front with gold letters on a blue background. Radha Krishna Temple. This temple was constructed with great labor and effort by Shyam Sundar Das Adhikari ki jai. On the day of Prabhupada's departure from London, he distributed some of his personal effects such as sweaters and scarves to his disciples. He then went downstairs alone into the temple to see the deities. He offered fully prostrated obeisances on the floor for a long time and then stood looking at Radha and Krishna. Yamuna. Prabhupada was looking at the deities with complete devotion. He loved those deities. He had commented about their exquisite beauty and how they complemented each other, how sometimes Radharani looked more beautiful, but how Krishna's moon-like face and eyes were shining. Prabhupada saw me and matter-of-factly said, "If you practice what I have taught you and follow the instructions of how I have taught you to worship the deity, and if you read the books that we have printed, it is sufficient for you to go back to Godhead. You need not learn anything new. Simply practice what I have taught you, and your life will be perfect." Then he left, just left. Hare Krishna. Okay, continuing from chapter 31. A threat against ISKCON. Boston, December 21, 1969. More than 100 of Srila Prabhupada's disciples and followers are in the lobby of the international terminal of Boston's Logan Airport. Kirtananda Swami has come from New Vrindavan with a truckload of devotees. The devotees from New York are here with a large banner. New York ISKCON devotees, New York ISKCON welcomes Srila Prabhupada. Most of the devotees wear heavy coats over their dhotis and saris and are chanting Hare Krishna. Some play drums and cymbals. A few babies and children are present. Waiting passengers can only watch, startled. Prabhupada's plane is late, and the devotees continue chanting, often leaping into the air with outstretched arms. They haven't seen Srila Prabhupada in a long time, and they are waiting, expecting to see him at any moment. Oblivious of the proprieties of being in public, the devotees chant emotionally, building almost to uncontrolled ecstasy. The state police step in to tell the biggest devotee, Brahmananda, "Cool it." The chanting falls away to a murmur of japa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The plane from London arrives. The devotees are unable to see the passengers entering in the glassed in immigration and customs area because the bottom 6 feet of the glass wall is painted black. Straining to see over the top, the devotees press forward, chanting, feverish, some almost hysterical. Suddenly they see Prabhupada's raised hand with bead bag on the other side of the wall. They can see only his raised hand and bead bag. They go wild. Fearlessly, with drums and kartal, the kirtan explodes again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Advaita is tearfully smashing the kartals together and chanting. Brahmananda, jumping up and down, trying to glimpse into the customs room, is crying uncontrollably and yelling, "Prabhupada, Prabhupada!" Srila Prabhupada, free of customs, suddenly appears before them. Kirtananda Swami, reserved until now, leaps around airport chairs and runs to him. Everyone is pushing and running, trying to be where Prabhupada is. Prabhupada's saffron robes are wrinkled from the long flight, and he wears a knit sweater. He holds his white plastic attaché case in his left hand and again raises his right arm with forefinger and thumb extended from the bead bag. He smiles wonderfully, beaming to his children. Devotees cheer and cry, "All glories to Srila Prabhupada." As he walks towards the saffron-covered sofa in the airport lounge, the devotees move with him in an ecstatic wave, pressing in close. He sits down. Premananda from New Vrindavan comes forward with his infant son, the first boy born in ISKCON, and holds him forward to Prabhupada for blessings. Prabhupada is smiling and the devotees are completely, unabashedly blissful. "Where is Hayagriva?" Prabhupada asks. The question is repeated by the devotees, and big Hayagriva lurches through the crowd, grumbling and falling flat at Prabhupada's feet in obeisance. One by one, the leaders of the various ISKCON centers come forward and place garland after garland around Prabhupada. Prabhupada looks beyond the wall of devotees at the newsmen with their cameras and at the baffled, curious, and disdainful onlookers. A bystander says, "I think he must be some kind of politician." So Prabhupada begins speaking. "The spiritual master is to be worshipped as God. But if he is thinking that he is God, then he is useless. My request is, please don't take Krishna consciousness as a sectarian religion." Prabhupada explains that Krishna consciousness is a great science, culminating in pure love of God. These boys and girls had never heard of Krishna before, Prabhupada continues. But now they have taken it up so naturally because it is natural. Prabhupada says that he is an old man, yet He is sure that even if he passes away, his students will continue the Krishna consciousness movement. The potency of this movement is such that it can awaken awareness of God within anyone's heart. After the lecture, Prabhupada stands and is escorted outside, where a limousine waits to drive him off through the newly fallen snow. Riding joyfully in the car with Prabhupada were Kirtanananda Swami, Brahmananda, Satsvarupa, and Purushottama. A professional chauffeur drove. Prabhupada talked of London. It was an old aristocratic city, he said, and the temple was in a very influential area near the British Museum. The location is what it is called downtown. They passed a large billboard advertising a restaurant and lounge. Continental. On seeing the billboard, Prabhupada said, Chintamani, what is that? Oh no, Continental. The devotees looked at one another. Chintamani? Prabhupada had thought that the sign had read Chintamani, meaning the spiritual gems that make up the transcendental land of Krishna Loka. But Prabhupada himself was Chintamani, pure and innocent, coming to the cold, dirty city of Boston, yet always thinking of Krishna wherever he was. How fortunate to be with him. Satsvarupa glanced at the professional chauffeur. Drive carefully, he said. Prabhupada spoke softly from the back seat, while the devotees in front peered back, barely able to see him in the darkness and completely awed by his friendly yet inconceivable presence. The other day, he said, I told George Harrison that if he thought his money belonged to him, that was Maya. At the Sumner Tunnel, the limousine pulled up at an automatic toll booth. The driver threw a coin into the chute and the red light turned green. Prabhupada asked if sometimes people drove through without paying, and Brahmananda replied that an alarm would go off. They moved ahead into the Sumner Tunnel, usually an eerie, nerve-wracking place, but not when riding with Srila Prabhupada. I told George to give his money to Krishna, Prabhupada said. Not that he had to give it to Krishna by giving it to me necessarily, but that somehow or other he must spend all of his money for Krishna. But you are the only way to Krishna, Brahmananda said. Prabhupada laughed lightly. Yes, he admitted, at least in the West. This was the great privilege of being able to ride with Prabhupada, to hear him say little things or serious things, and to see his fathomless expression or his kind smiling. It was a rare opportunity. I am representing unadulterated teachings, Prabhupada continued. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, surrender to me, and I say, surrender to Krishna. It is very simple. So many Swamis come and present themselves as Krishna, and it is all spoiled. But I say, surrender to Krishna. I do not say anything new or adulterated. Krishna says, surrender to me, and I say, surrender to Krishna. Okay, I think we'll pause here. We'll continue from here tomorrow. Yes, so it is very simple science, as Srila Prabhupada explains. And we have to surrender to Krishna. And that is what Prabhupada came to teach. Like yesterday also he was telling, like today he's telling to George Harrison that he should use all his wealth, all his money in the service of the Lord. Because yesterday when we were reading, George Harrison was mentioning that how Prabhupada was such a humble person. That is how he came across, and that is what attracted George towards Srila Prabhupada. He never, even though he was so popular and so powerful, a saint, yet he never told that he's God, unlike these other Swamis. But he always considered himself not just to be servant, but a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord, right? And that humility is what attracted George. And Prabhupada told him to just continue chanting all the time, or at least as much as possible, right? So that was a simple instruction. And even while the devotee was massaging Prabhupada's head, he was not giving his attention as they were watching the moon landing. And Prabhupada said that, have you forgotten how to massage? And Prabhupada personally massaged his head, right? So while he was doing his service, but he was not doing it with concentrated attention. So again, a simple yet powerful way of Srila Prabhupada to indicate that when we are absorbed, when we are absorbed in our service, we should be completely absorbed and with full attention. Whatever we are doing for Krishna, we should give it our full attention. So, and yeah, all these small instructions that Prabhupada is giving them while driving, and beautiful installation in London, Shri Radha London Ishvara. And yeah, Prabhupada's, as we are reading or singing the prayers for Shri Balaramji, as to serve as protection. Prabhupada being there personally with all his disciples, he's protecting them, even protecting from those mishaps that could have happened. But just because of his presence, everything was all right. So yeah, very nice. Okay, any other thoughts or reflections from today's reading?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, everyone. Just two very strong feelings at the end of the last words of chapter 30, that he left, he just left, kind of brought tears. Like, it's watching your loved one, your guru, walk away, and then you don't know when you're going to see him again, So I thought that evoked a very strong feeling. And then when he came back and his hand raised through the glass doors and windows where the bottom was painted black and they could only see his hand and japa bag, I think that brought back hope. I could feel the ecstasy people were feeling outside the door. I think these two were two very strong emotions that I felt today. So just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Yes. Yeah, he left, but he gave, like he said to Yamuna Mataji, just practice what I have taught you. And it was very simple instructions, right? Just make sure you're chanting, you're reading these wonderful books that he has given, because he will always live through his instructions. The spiritual master always lives through his instructions. And we can follow his instructions by associating with him through the books that Srila Prabhupada has given us. And of course the bead bag, and just like we have one index finger pointing out of the bead bag, again kind of connecting back to that Murti of Srila Prabhupada during Sadhu Sangha. We saw, he had his finger pointed up, one index finger pointing up, right? So kind of just as if he's indicating, just follow this one thing that I've told you, right? Just follow my instructions. One thing in life. Just chant the holy names. And just when we do that one thing, follow what he has given us as it is, without adulteration, without becoming prideful, always surrendered to the instructions of our Guru Parampara, then our life will be successful. Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Minu Mataji. All right, anybody else would like to share anything? Shama Karuna Mataji, anything from you?
Mataji, and you have explained it so nicely that after the return, they were so excited to see Prabhupada, and really as if they have seen Krishna. So Prabhupada always tells, so you have to always surrender to, not to me, but for Krishna. Krishna is more important, and how he felt, they all felt happy after seeing him, their glow on their faces. And even Prabhupada reciprocated in the same way. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, all right. Anybody else would like to share anything? Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, I couldn't speak yesterday, but today's reflections were very beautiful. And one thing that I really liked in this is Prabhupada in a nutshell said, that's all you need. The way I have taught you the deity service, you have my books, and the Harinam, that's all you need. And you'll go back home, back to Kotter. That is why they say you just have to grab Prabhupada's dhoti and we should be fine. We don't need anything else. And that is what I was reading His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj's transcript lectures, and one of the lectures he had mentioned that once Prabhupada left, there was a lot of concern that who's going to guide us, and people started looking towards other acharyas from other sampradayas in Vrindavan. and when they, because they were all god brothers, but when they came together, they came to this consensus, and with Prabhupada's previous letters and everything, they realized that even if they have themselves, each with the god brothers, there's Chaitya Guru within them, and if they respect their god brothers, and they could be treated as seniors even though they were at the same level. So staying within the society and taking instructions from each other is better than taking instructions from outside, because that is outside our sampradaya, outside the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, there's so much, like you said, there is so much to read from Srila Prabhupada's books. Of course, when we are reading now, we have almost finished all the small books in that list that Vishwanath Prabhu has shared. There's what we have spent almost 1.5 years, and we haven't reached we probably reached 50%, right? So there's so much to read just from the books of Srila Prabhupada. And besides what you said, there are so many other transcripts, even like morning walks, and other articles that Srila Prabhupada has written. So there is so much. And then, of course, Srila Prabhupada's disciples' books, there's so much to read that there's no time to do any other thing. If you spend most, like a decade or more of our time, we will still not be read. And having just read once will not suffice. You have to read it again, like Ritu Prabhu was saying. He actually said we should read Prabhupada's instructions 20 times. So that's a big goal. But yeah, we see, when we read even a couple of times, 3-4 times, it sticks in our brain. So there's so much to read, so that there's no time to even look outside. But yeah, that is what we should try to do. And yeah, Prabhupada has given us everything perfectly. Like Harivamsha Prabhu was saying, there's Bhagavad Vidhi and Pancharatrika Vidhi, both. It's like a parallel track. So yeah, Bhagavad Vidhi, practicing the Navavidha Bhakti, Pancharatrika Vidhi, also deity worship. Prabhupada has given us all of this perfectly. So if we just follow these 2 tracks, then we will be on the track, and our train will not derail going here and there, right, or falling off the tracks, but directly going back to Godhead, because this track will lead us there, as Srila Prabhupada has given us this track. So we just have to stay on the track. Hare Krishna. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for all your beautiful reflections, which always inspire each one of us to stay committed to this path and inspire us to go there, not just alone, but in the association of all of the devotees. So thank you so much. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय. जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद लीलामृत की जय. नीताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. हरे कृष्णा.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad pranams. Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna.